Hi, I'm Dr. Margaret Paul. I'm a best-selling author and relationship expert, and I've been working with individuals and couples for the last 42 years. And I'd like to talk to you about something that may not seem related to counseling, but it really is, and that's food. This is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart. I was not a well child, and I hated being sick. And so in my early 20s, I started reading everything that I could about food. And I threw out everything in my refrigerator and cupboards, and I started to follow this one little bitty health food store that was in Los Angeles at that time. There wasn't any Whole Foods then. That was 48 years ago. And I really turned my own health around. And now I have more energy than most young people, and I rarely, if ever, get sick. And I think that it is our responsibility to take care of our health. Not only our responsibility for the country because of health care, but to ourselves. I think it's our responsibility to create a healthy body so that the beautiful soul that's within us has a healthy body to live in. And so what does create health? Well, first I'd like to tell you what doesn't. What doesn't create health is anything that you eat that people 200 years ago didn't eat. That was before supermarkets. That was before packaged and frozen and canned foods. It was before devitalized foods, and it was before foods that got sprayed with pesticides, and before factory farms. It was before the chickens that were in cages and the cows that were fed grain and hormones. And so a rule of thumb for health is if people did not eat it a couple of hundred years ago, why bother eating it now? God gave us wonderful, wonderful food on the planet. Now, we each have individual bodies, and some people's bodies need more protein, and some people's bodies need more vegetables or carbohydrates, and it's up to each person to discover what really works for them. But my rule of thumb, which is don't eat it if it wasn't eaten a lot of years ago, will keep you healthy. Unfortunately, people are very, very busy. And instead of cooking, instead of getting fresh organic produce, they just buy something in a can or something frozen. And this does not create health. So I really want to encourage all of you to start taking responsibility for your health. As adults, we're responsible for ourselves on many levels. And one of those levels is physical. The other levels are emotional and spiritual, relational, organizational. There's many levels, but physical is one of those levels, and it is a very important level. The other thing about food is that when you eat badly, it taxes the body and lowers the frequency of the body and makes it very, very hard for you to access the guidance that you need. We all have the ability to access our spiritual guidance, but it's only when we're really open to learning and in a high frequency. And we can't do that when we've eaten sugar and devitalized foods. It's so hard for the body to manage those foods. So if you want to be living in peace and joy and love and vitality and aliveness, you got to start to eat well. Now, learning to take loving care of ourselves is a process. Wanting to take loving care of ourselves is a process. And the inner bonding process is a fabulous process for learning to take loving care of yourself. So I hope that I see you on our website at innerbonding.com. I hope you join our community, which is wonderfully supportive for loving action towards oneself. I hope I see you online.